السيدات والسادة، أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الحضور الكريم، يسعدني أن أكون بينكم اليوم في واشنطن للمشاركة في المنتدى العالمي للطاقة، وأتوجه بالشكر إلى المجلس الأطلسي على هذه الدعوة وعلى جهوده في تعزيز الحوار الدولي حول أمن الطاقة والاستدامة والنمو الاقتصادي.
Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, it is a pleasure to be with you today in Washington to participate in the Global Energy Forum. I would like to thank the Atlantic Council for this invitation and for its efforts in promoting international dialogue on energy security, sustainability, and the economic growth.
تأتي مشاركتنا اليوم في مرحلة جديدة من تاريخ سوريا، مرحلة تتجه فيها البلاد نحو إعادة البناء والانفتاح الاقتصادي وتعزيز الشراكات الدولية، ونحن لا ننظر إلى هذه المرحلة باعتبارها استعادة لما فقدناه فحسب، بل فرصة لإعادة تعريف موقع سوريا كشريك فاعل ومركز إقليمي حيوي يسهم في أمن الطاقة الإقليمي والدولي.
Our participation comes at a new stage in Syria's history, a stage in which the country is moving towards reconstruction, economic openness, and the strengthening of international partnerships. We view this stage not only as a recovery for what we have lost, but also as an opportunity to redefine Syria's position as an active partner and a vital regional hub contributing to regional and international energy security.
لقد تأثر قطاع الطاقة السوري بشكل كبير خلال السنوات الماضية، إلا أن إرادة السوريين كانت الأساس الذي ننطلق منه اليوم نحو مرحلة جديدة من التنمية والاستقرار.
The Syrian energy sector has been significantly impacted in recent years, but the will of the Syrian people has been the foundation upon which we are building today toward a new phase of development and stability.
ومن هذا المنبر أود أن أؤكد أن سوريا تنظر إلى الولايات المتحدة كشريك مهم في مجالات الطاقة والتكنولوجيا والاستثمار والابتكار، ونؤمن بأن التعاون الاقتصادي وبناء الشراكات يمثلان أفضل السبل لتعزيز الاستقرار وتحقيق المصالح المشتركة.
From this platform, I would like to emphasize that Syria views the United States as a vital partner in the fields of energy, technology, investment, and innovation, and we believe that economic cooperation and partnership building are the best ways to enhance stability and achieve shared interests.
السيدات والسادة، لقد اختارت سوريا أن تجعل من قطاع الطاقة بوابة رئيسية لانفتاحها على العالم، وخلال الأشهر الماضية نجحنا في بناء شبكة واسعة من الشراكات مع شركات ومؤسسات دولية وإقليمية رائدة في رسالة واضحة تؤكد أن سوريا عادت وجهة جاذبة للاستثمار.
Ladies and gentlemen, Syria has chosen to make the energy sector a key gateway to its openness to the world. Over the past few months, we have successfully built a broad network of partnerships with leading international and regional companies and institutions, sending a clear message that Syria has once again become an attractive destination for investment.
واليوم تشهد سوريا عودة عدد كبير من شركات الطاقة العالمية الكبرى إلى السوق السورية، فقد أطلقنا مسارات تعاون وشراكات استراتيجية مع الشركات الأمريكية شيفرون وكونوكو فيليبس واتشكي إنرجي وجي إي، إلى جانب شركات عالمية كبرى مثل توتال وسيمنز وأنسالدو، فضلا عن مناقشات متقدمة مع شركة إيني الإيطالية وعدد من الشركات الأوروبية والعالمية الأخرى الراغبة بالمساهمة في مشاريع الطاقة السورية.
Today, Syria is witnessing the return of several major international energy companies to the Syrian market. We have launched strategic cooperation and partnership agreements with American companies, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, HKN Energy, and GE, in addition to major global companies such as Total Energies, Siemens, and Ansaldo. Furthermore, we are in advanced discussions with the Italian company Eni and a number of other European and international companies interested in contributing to Syrian energy projects.
كما شهد قطاع الطاقة السوري توقيع واحدة من أكبر الاتفاقيات الاستثمارية في تاريخ سوريا الحديث من خلال الشراكة مع شركة UCC هولدينج وشركائها الدوليين والإقليميين باستثمارات تصل إلى 7 مليارات دولار أمريكي لتطوير مشاريع استراتيجية في مجالات الكهرباء والبنية التحتية والطاقة المتجددة، إضافة إلى شراكات أخرى مع شركات تركية وخليجية وإقليمية.
The Syrian energy sector has also witnessed the signing of one of the largest investment agreements in modern Syrian history through a partnership with UCC Holding and its international and regional partners. This agreement involves investments reaching $7 billion to develop strategic projects in the fields of electricity, infrastructure, and renewable energy, in addition to other partnerships with Turkish, Gulf, and regional companies.
السيدات والسادة، إن رؤيتنا لا تقتصر على إعادة تأهيل البنية التحتية الوطنية، بل تمتد إلى تعزيز الترابط الطاقي الإقليمي. فموقع سوريا يضعها عند نقطة التقاء مهمة بين مناطق الإنتاج الرئيسية في الخليج والعراق وشرق المتوسط، وبين الأسواق الإقليمية والدولية.
Ladies and gentlemen, our vision extends beyond simply rehabilitating national infrastructure. It encompasses strengthening regional energy interconnection. Syria's location places it at a crucial crossroads between major production areas in the Gulf, Iraq, and the Eastern Mediterranean, and between regional and international markets.
ومن هذا المنطلق نعمل مع شركائنا على تطوير رؤى جديدة للتكامل في مجالات النفط والغاز والكهرباء والبنية التحتية المرتبطة بالطاقة، بما يعزز أمن الطاقة والأمن الاقتصادي الإقليمي. كما يشكل التعاون مع جمهورية العراق الشقيقة بما في ذلك جهود تطوير آليات نقل النفط ومباحثات إعادة تأهيل وتشغيل خط أنابيب كركوك بانياس جزءا من رؤية أوسع لتعزيز الترابط الإقليمي وخدمة مصالح البلدين.
From this perspective, we are working with our partners to develop new visions for integration in the oil, gas, electricity, and related energy infrastructure sectors, thereby enhancing regional energy and economic security. Cooperation with our sister nation, the Republic of Iraq, includes efforts to develop oil transportation mechanisms and discussions regarding the rehabilitation and operation of the Kirkuk-Banyas pipeline, form part of the broader vision to enhance regional interconnection and serve the interests of both countries.
إن هذه الشراكات لا تمثل مجرد استثمارات اقتصادية، بل تعكس تحولا حقيقيا في موقع سوريا على خريطة الطاقة الإقليمية والدولية، وتعزز الثقة بالدور الذي يمكن أن تؤديه سوريا في دعم أمن الطاقة والاستقرار الاقتصادي خلال العقود المقبلة.
These partnerships are not merely economic investments. They reflect a genuine shift in Syria's position on the regional and international energy map, and bolster confidence in the role Syria can play in supporting energy security and economic stability in the coming decades.
السيدات والسادة، تنسجم أجندة هذا المنتدى مع رؤيتنا الوطنية التي تنظر إلى الطاقة باعتبارها أحد أعمدة الأمن الاقتصادي والاستقرار الإقليمي، وهدفنا لا يقتصر على إعادة بناء ما تضرر، بل يتجاوز ذلك نحو بناء قطاع طاقة حديث ومرن ومستدام.
Ladies and gentlemen, the agenda of this forum aligns with our national vision, which views energy as a cornerstone of economic security and regional stability. Our goal extends beyond simply rebuilding what has been damaged. It aims to build a modern, resilient, and sustainable energy sector.
وترتكز رؤيتنا على 4 محاور رئيسية. أولاً، إعادة تأهيل وتطوير البنية التحتية لقطاع الطاقة وفق أحدث المعايير العالمية.
Our vision is based on 4 main pillars. First, rehabilitating and developing the energy sector infrastructure according to the latest international standards.
ثانياً، تعزيز أمن الطاقة وتنويع مصادرها وتحسين كفاءة الإنتاج والنقل والتوزيع.
Second, enhancing energy security, diversifying energy sources, and improving the efficiency of production, transmission, and distribution.
ثالثاً، بناء شراكات دولية طويلة الأمد تسهم في نقل التكنولوجيا والخبرات وتوفير التمويل والاستثمار.
Third, building long-term international partnerships that contribute to the transfer of technology and expertise and provide financing and investment.
رابعاً، ترسيخ موقع سوريا كممر إقليمي للطاقة وحلقة ربط موثوقة بين مصادر الإنتاج وأسواق الاستهلاك.
And fourth, establishing Syria's position as a regional energy corridor and a reliable link between production sources and consumer markets.
وقد بدأنا بالفعل بتحويل هذه الرؤية إلى واقع من خلال إعادة تأهيل وتشغيل عدد من المنشآت الحيوية في قطاعات النفط والغاز والكهرباء، وتحسين كفاءة محطات التوليد، وإطلاق مشاريع جديدة في مجالات التوليد الكهربائي والاستكشاف والطاقة المتجددة.
We have already begun to translate this vision into reality by rehabilitating and operating a number of vital facilities in the oil, gas, and electricity sectors, improving the efficiency of power generation plants, and launching new projects in the fields of electricity generation, exploration, and renewable energy.
كما نعمل على تطوير الأطر المؤسسية والاستثمارات التي توفر الشفافية والثقة للمستثمرين وتدعم بناء شراكات طويلة الأمد.
We are also working on to develop institutional and investment frameworks that provide transparency and confidence for investors and support the building of long-term partnerships.
السيدات والسادة، رسالتنا للمستثمرين واضحة: إن أبواب سوريا مفتوحة أمام الاستثمار المسؤول والشراكات طويلة الأمد.
Ladies and gentlemen, our message to investors is clear. Syria's doors are open to responsible investment and long-term partnerships.
ورسالتنا للشعب الأمريكي أيضا واضحة: إن سوريا تتطلع إلى المستقبل وتؤمن بأن التعاون الاقتصادي والعلمي والتقني قادر على بناء جسور جديدة من الثقة وتحقيق منافع مشتركة لشعبينا وللمنطقة بأسرها.
Our message to the American people is also clear. Syria is looking to the future and believes that economic, scientific, and technological cooperation can build new bridges of trust and achieve mutual benefits to our two peoples and the entire region.
وختاما، إننا ندعو العالم أن لا ينظر إلى ما مرت به سوريا خلال السنوات الماضية، بل إلى ما يمكن أن تصبح عليه خلال السنوات القادمة.
In conclusion, we are not asking the world to look at what Syria has endured in recent years, but rather at what it can become in the years to come.
سوريا اليوم ليست قصة تعافي فحسب، بل قصة نهوض، وليست ساحات أزمات بل أرض فرص، وليست عبئا على المستقبل بل شريكا في صناعته. ونحن نتطلع إلى العمل مع شركائنا في الولايات المتحدة والعالم لبناء مستقبل أكثر أمنا واستدامة وازدهارا في قطاع الطاقة.
Syria today is not just a story of recovery, but a story of resurgence. It is not a battleground, but a land of opportunity. It is not a burden on the future, but a partner in shaping it. We look forward to working with our partners in the United States and around the world to build a more secure, sustainable, and prosperous future in the energy sector.
شكرا لكم جميعا لحسن الاستماع.
Thank you all for being here.
To chair the next leadership conversation, please welcome Director of the Iraq Initiative at the Rafik Harari Center in Middle East Programs of the Atlantic Council, Victoria J. Taylor.
And thanks to the minister for his excellent remarks, really providing a great outline for the government's vision. Now I'm going to turn to a conversation with Syrian Petroleum Company CEO Yusuf Kablawi. Appointed by President al-Shara in November 2025 as President and CEO of SPC, Mr. Kablawi is a seasoned oil and gas executive with nearly 3 decades of experience leading large-scale projects across the energy sector. He's worked at McDermott International, Honeywell, and a number of other positions in the sector and throughout the region. Now, Mr. Kablawi, we were pleased to host you in March at the Atlantic Council along with our partners at the U.S. Syria Business Council for a symposium on the Syrian energy sector. It was a standing room only event, and I think a clear demonstration there's quite a bit of enthusiasm for Syria's energy sector. Let's start with the upstream first. You've signed a number of MOUs with international investors over the past year. And you've really been working along with the minister to send a signal that Syria is open for business. By some estimates, these preliminary deals total up to $28 billion. How are you going to translate these MOUs into contracts? And in turn, what does this mean for production? And how are you going to get production moving?
Thank you, Victoria. Pleasure to be here, and thanks for the Atlantic Council sponsoring the energy forum here in the capital of the country, in Washington, D.C. It was our pleasure. As the Minister of Energy, Mr. Mohammed Bashir, mentioned, Syria is opening for investment, for all kinds of investors. To go back to your questions about the MOU we signed, a bunch of MOU we signed for the energy sectors. The fast track we are processing now in the Syrian Petroleum Company, we are converting those MOUs to contract is really in high tracks. So, and we are not talking, we're actually outside currently. First MOU has been converted to contract last month, or the previous month, sorry, it was in April, with Saudi company. So they are now mobilizing their team in the center of the country to increase the production of the gas. The second one, which is the major global company here in the United States of America, which is ConocoPhillips, a joint venture with Novaterra, who will sign the contract on 16th of June. This is the biggest contract we are going to sign since we established the SPC company. Of course, currently the contract under the board for discussion. Hopefully within 2-3 days will be ready, and then we are going to sign it next week. The other things also, in additional to the MOUs, or let's continue MOUs and then I'll move to something else. We have the Chevron, as His Excellency Bashir mentioned. With Chevron, we signed it for the block number 1 for the offshore investment. Oil and gas exploration, Total, Qatar Energy, and ConocoPhillips together for block number 3. And we are working now day and night to convert that MOU to contract. And hopefully before end of July, there is something we'll see the final discussion about the term and conditions. Part of those MOUs, there is major companies we have contracted with them in the old regime. They removed the force majeure and they are coming back now strongly to their block, to their assigned block, like Gulf Sand, for example. Gulf Sand mobilizing already, and hopefully next week or the week after, we are going to kick off the site activity work itself. There is American company ABR as well. Petro-Canada, they are also in discussion with us. HKN has been, I forget that one, it's an important one. HKN Energy, it was MOUs, we converted already to contract, already mobilizing, and tomorrow, 8 o'clock morning, they are going to start operation at the field. So all those kind of things, it is not easy. It is not easy job, especially SBC established back in October. So from October to now, almost 8 months or 7 months, and we did that much progress. It's really appreciated for the team itself, for the collaboration between us and the international companies, and for the effort that the Ministry of Energy provide in order to give us the roadmap in this regards.
And so then to follow up, when you were in March, you were kind of listing out for us some of your production targets. What are the new targets, and do you think you're on track to meet them?
Yeah, so we talked about that back in March, you're right. As maybe Mr. Bashir mentioned during his speech, currently our focusing is to increase the production, oil production and gas production. Gas production for the electricity, for the people, oil production for the refining and for the oil product, and also to sell out the heavy oil outside and then bring in new. So far, we are producing almost 130 times before we take over the northeast of the river. So I don't like to give numbers, but by end of this year, the number will be amazing to, or number will be enough, more than enough to swipe the heavy oil with the light oil we need for the refinery. By end of next year, definitely we are going to have more stability for the production. By end of this decade, which is 2030, by 2030, I see 1 million barrel per day. I can see that one in 2030 with those kind of corporation and joint venture with American companies and others. There is like almost more than half of the country ready for exploration. There is brand new virgin blocks never touched before, ready for exploration. So those contain huge number of reservoir, required really big names to enter the market, like my favorite, like tier one company, to enter the market and investment in order to get those oil from under the ground. So I can see that, yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned offshore. Obviously, a number of MOUs signed for offshore exploration. Some of the major U.S. energy companies are sticking to offshore and they're not coming onshore. What are you doing to convince those companies that they need to look onshore as well?
Yeah, actually, maybe the message was not correctly translated to you, Victoria. They talked to us about onshore as well. And the proof to prove that, last night I got a dinner with Chevron, and they got the first block for offshore, and they are ready to invest in the onshore as well. Not only onshore exploration, onshore midstream. They are thinking about that as well. So ConocoPhillips, they invest in onshore, and now we sign with them the offshore block. So those big companies like Chevron, Conoco, Exxon, and BP is now I think with BP, by the way, British Petroleum as well. So they look for like what is the best investment that they can, enter the country with. Offshore plus onshore. Onshore is easier. Offshore costs a lot, take more time. That's why they need revenue to generate from the onshore in order to invest in the offshore. So both opportunities for offshore and onshore are open for all the companies. Yeah, and we are pushing in that direction, by the way, for both.
On both, okay. And so I'm glad you mentioned domestic consumption and local energy demand. Understandably, after years of war, the electricity infrastructure is damaged. Some of the power plants don't have enough fuel to really operate. And I know that, throughout the country, some Syrians are not really getting as much electricity, many hours of electricity every day. Can you talk a little bit about how the SPC is working to help meet this electricity demand, and how quickly you think you can help get more power out to the Syrian people?
Yeah, that's actually critical questions here. Currently, we are in much better situation than before. I think during the conversation with the U.S. Department of Energy, Mr. Wright, yesterday, His Excellency Al-Bashir mentioned that before it was 2 to 3 hour maximum per day, the number of hours provided to the customer for the citizen of Syria. Currently, more than 10 to 15 hours. So there is huge improvement to provide those kind of facility and services. SPC is the main provider for the electrical power stations. So there is number of cubic meters coming from our land. There is number of cubic meters imported from our neighbors. So both are enough to run the current existing power plants. The vision which we put here together with the Minister of Energy, with the Ministry of Energy, is after UCC Power Holding, they complete the construction of the 4 power plants. There is, as you know, there's 4 power plant double cycle, and there is 1 solar. So after we complete those one, they need more gas to run those power plants. That's why we take advanced step in order to increase the production from the land. That's why ConocoPhillips, they are going to sign next week. Adis from Saudi Arabia already mobilizing. Both companies working mainly for the gas in order to achieve the number of quantity that need to run the future power plant we are going to construct. Here we have also the Prime Minister of Energy, Mr. Ibrahim, is following up with the old those party, mainly the international companies. In order to achieve to that number, we have kind of forecast and projection how many cubic meter we need really for the existing power plant plus the future power plant. We calculate the number. This is the number. We have the number. Now our target is to achieve that number. Maybe we will be shorter a little bit from our land, and that's why we need to continue importing gas to put the demand behind us.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned in March, projects to rebuild some of Syria's refining capacity. How are those projects moving forward?
Yeah, the refinery currently, as mentioned previously and in multiple meetings, we have 2 refineries, as you know. So there's one almost dead in the center of the country. There is one operated good, not very good, but is okay, which is in the shore, Banias. This will shut it down by July. So next month will be shut down completely for very major maintenance. It will be huge major maintenance for that refinery in order to increase the oil product capacity production from that refinery to the maximum number, which is 130 barrel per day. Currently, that refinery producing 95. So it will be like around 40,000 more barrel per day by October. So we'll shut down in July, and then we open again in October. Those will support us in order to reduce importing oil product from outside. In parallel, we are working with our neighbor and to construct brand new refinery close to the desert, outside of the density of residential area and commercial. So that one will produce around, the plan is 200,000 barrel per day. So 200 plus 130, we are talking about 330, 340. So more than what we need for the country. That's why Syria will be exporting oil product, hopefully within 3 years from now. After we finish the construction of the new refinery, we'll have extra quantity of the refinery products, so we can export to our neighbor, Jordan, Lebanon. We have a lot of neighbor without oil. They are not oil countries, so we can sell those extra product to them. So this is the plan. Now we start the discussion. Hopefully the FEED, the fundamental engineering design, will start in Q3 this year. So from that date, you have to count 3 years in order to finish the commissioning of that new refinery and start producing the oil.
Well, these are all a lot of ambitious targets. And so if I were to summarize, it seems like more of everything is really on the agenda right now. Obviously, one of the major themes of this conference and the global energy market is the Iran war and the impact of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which has really, very dramatically highlighted one of the major vulnerabilities in the global energy market, and particularly for many of the producers in the Middle East, including Iraq, which I also work on. I think this has understandably prompted a lot of conversations about how to develop more export routes. And of course, we heard the minister outline a vision of Syria as an energy corridor. How can Syria become an alternative hub to market or an energy corridor? What projects are you going to prioritize to actually make this a reality?
Yeah, so this is a really important topic here. And actually, it's become a hub now. So we started with exporting the oil from our neighbors, mainly Iraq. Unfortunately, the war which has happened now in the Gulf area and Hormuz give us that chance and that opportunity to be the hub or the exported land for Iraqi fuel oil and oil. Syria, it was before like that. There is major pipeline between Kirkuk and Banyas, which has been destroyed after Iraqi war, and the previous regime, they continue that destruction for that pipeline. So currently, the plan is to relive that lines and put more investment in that line and rebuild it again from scratch, all the way from Kirkuk to Banyas, around 1,200 kilometers, really long destination. So it'll be like a major distribution line for Iraq, or transportation line for Iraqi crude oil, and plus the fuel oil through Syria all the way to Tartus and Banyas for exporting outside the country. This is the vision, which just to let's say, reformulate that, as His Excellency Al-Bashir mentioned, and yesterday also we discussed with Mr. Wright, the U.S. Department of Energy. Our vision really supported by U.S. Department here of Energy, by U.S. government. Syria need to be more active in order to consider it as a hub for oil and gas distribution. In addition of that, our neighbors, like from Egypt, from Jordan, not only the oil, the gas pipeline, the Arab gas pipeline, which is the main gas pipeline over all across the country, from all the way from Egypt, from north of Africa, passing with the Middle East, all the way to Turkey. This is life. We are using it now to transport gas to Syria to feed our power plants. And in the future, after Chevron and Conoco, they finish their project, we'll have extra gas. So we'll use that pipeline to pump it up with our Syrian gas in order to distribute it outside the country through Turkey. Plus, our vision also is to have an offshore platform to distribute the offshore gas, which we are going to with our joint venture companies helping us to explore those, and use that one, that hub, to distribute our oil gas from the sea to oil and gas from the sea all the way to the Europe and our neighbors. There is also Lebanon, our neighbor, they need the gas. So there is a pipeline we are building now, or actually already built, but we are doing kind of intelligent bidding for that pipeline in order to feed Lebanon with the number of cubic meters to their power plants. So we are working in that very, very important subject, which is to be a hub for oil and gas distribution. There is oil pipeline distribution from Iraq to Banyas. There is Arab gas pipeline. There is a connection between Syria and Lebanon. There is multiple projects really we are working on that. Plus the offshore platform and the offshore terminal, which we are going to expand and support in the future, near future, to be in order if you need to bring liquid natural gas, liquefaction natural gas from other countries. So maybe we can regasificate that gas and use it for natural gas distribution as well. So we are working on that very heavily.
And so what are the obstacles to achieving this vision? Just off the top of my head, I would think funding and resources would be one of the challenges to bringing all these projects to fruition right now. Is there funding behind all of these pipeline projects?
Now, for the Arab gas pipeline, there is a small piece, like between two cities, Aleppo and Homs, like around 185 kilometers. This is EBC. This is awarded for EBC company. We are going to fund this one ourselves. So SPC, Syria Petroleum Company, they have the money to construct, commission, and procure that new pipeline, not new pipeline, the extension, or to complete the Arab gas pipeline. Currently, that Arab gas pipeline coming from Egypt all the way to Turkey, that piece is not yet there. So there is bypass, 24-inch. So we are going to remove that bypass and continue the 36-inch construction for that pipeline. And this is funded by the Syrian Petroleum Company. The heavy fund we need, or the budget that we need really for the Kirkuk-Banyas pipeline, it will be like kind of BOT deal, build, operate, and transport. So the company now we receive an offer from American companies, from GCC companies, I don't like to mention the name, And yesterday, during our dinner with other friends also here in Washington, they are interested in that pipeline. So we are going to pick the best deal that fit Syria Petroleum Company, in order to construct that Kirkuk-Banias pipeline. The Kirkuk border, it will be under Iraqi responsibility. From the border all the way to Banias, it will be under Syrian responsibilities. And the vision from the head of the pyramid, which is the President Ashara, and all the ministers, including His Excellency Al-Bashir, is to really support that idea, support that vision, to use Syria as a hub for distribution.
Mhm. And is this, maybe you could talk a little bit more. I've seen President al-Shara refer to 4 Cs, 9 corridors. Beyond pipelines, how much bigger is this vision? And does this involve logistics and other infrastructure?
Yeah, I think just to reaffirm what we said, currently we are using trucks from Iraq to transport the Iraqi fuel oil through the Syrian land all the way to the port. When we start the process 2 months ago, we were not able to receive more than 200 trucks. Currently, we are receiving 1,000 trucks. Each trucks contain 220 barrels, so almost 220,000 barrel per day, transport the fuel oil from Iraq through Syria. This means we invest a lot in the infrastructural in order to increase the capacity and accept more crude oil and fuel oil from Iraqi. And we are continuing doing that. So this is one very important thing. The road itself, the road that trucks drive on, the security, the cameras, the gate in, gate out, passport control, all these kind of logistics and facilities within 2 months since we start oil transport from Iraq, which is back in March, until now, the beginning of June, we increased the capacity from 200 truck to 1,000 truck. This is a sign how we are working in SPC to support the vision.
Yeah. Well, this is a very ambitious agenda, and we're always delighted to hear from you and have an opportunity to hear from the minister as well. I know there's a number of energy companies here who are already in Syria, a number who are considering Syria. And I hope that this conversation has been useful to everyone in highlighting some of the opportunities and the challenges. And of course, we wish you the best of luck as you continue to move ahead. And really, this is upon powering the economy, providing power to the people, and ensuring that Syria's economic development can continue to support its transition.
Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.